Welcome to this very special episode of Vinyl Rewind. Today we pay tribute to Leonard Nimoy by looking at his debut album, Mr. Spock's Music from Outer Space from 1967 on Dot Records. Even if you're not a fan of Star Trek, I think you're really gonna dig this album. Now, you may be asking yourself, how in the heck did this album come to be? Well, kind of by chance. You see, Gulf Western had just acquired Paramount Studios, as well as the studio producing the show Star Trek. Since Dot Records was a subsidy of Paramount, it only made sense to release an album of space music inspired by the show. Charles Green headed the project, and it was his teenage daughter who suggested that he get Spock on the record, since she was a fan of both the show and the character. Green liked the idea and contacted Nimoy asking if he was interested in either speaking or singing on the album. Nimoy replied that he would very much enjoy doing both. Now, I do want to mention that on this album he only appears on 6 of the 11 tracks, 3 singing and the other 3 as spoken word pieces in the character of Spock. It's an interesting mix that proved to be a decent seller, as the album reached 81 on the album charts. Nimoy went on to sign a long-term contract with Dot Records that resulted in 4 more records, with the last 3 void of anything Spock related. Okay, let's talk about the cover here. This is awesome. I love the fact that he's holding the Enterprise. This is a really cool background. On the back here, you have Leonard Nimoy himself as a human, and a little blurb about him, his background, his singing, track listings, and yeah, pretty basic. What's interesting about this album is that it's almost a compilation. There's so many different types of songs and there's a lot of covers on here, so instead of just trying to talk about it as a whole, I'm gonna go track by track. The album opens with probably the most swingin' 60s version of the Star Trek theme ever. If you thought the original sounded far out, wait till you hear this version. Complete with a swingin' beat and an organ with tons of reverb. It's awesome. Track 2 is the first time we hear Leonard Nimoy, this time as Spock doing sort of a spoken word space poetry kind of thing. It's a fun, if not confusing little number, as it takes a few listens to understand everything he's saying.
Am I the you before? The you were when your world was new?
Track 3 is the first time we hear Nimoy's singing voice. The song is Where Is Love from the musical Oliver, and honestly it isn't bad. He has a nice tone and a much higher range than I would have imagined. And he really is singing, he's not sort of sing-talking. However, it is out of place on this record. I'm not really sure how it fits in with the rest of the space themes, but hey, there it is.
Where is she?
Track 4 has got to be my favorite off the album. It's a cover of Music to Watch Girls By, which is a song I already love, but the twist here is that it's titled Music to Watch Space Girls By. Overall, it's not really out there, crazy kind of 60s pop, and there's no Nimoy to be found, which is sad. Side 2 ends with a hilarious Spock monologue set to the tune of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Only is done to those 60s big beat sounds. I can't do it justice. It really needs to be heard. Nimoy is really on point here. You can tell he's having a lot of fun on this one. I can only imagine how this song fits within the Star Trek canon. If you're a Trekkie, let me know.
Twinkle, twinkle, little Earth, how I wonder what you're worth.
Side 2 opens with a cover of the Mission Impossible theme song with heavy organ and distorted guitar. What's funny is that Nimoy would later join the cast of Mission Impossible for 2 seasons, beginning in 1969. But at the time of this album, he was still working on Star Trek. What a crazy coincidence, huh? Track 2 is another Broadway show tune, this time the title song from Lost in the Stars. For me, this one doesn't feel as strong as the other Broadway tune. It's a little too high for his range, I feel like, and it might have been better to kind of drop it down a key for him. But I don't know. They must have had their reasons.
And they ran through his fingers like grains of sand.
Track 3, Where No Man Has Gone Before, opens with that familiar monologue tune, but then it goes into this harpsichord-backed mellotron kind of instrumental oddity, complete with a chorus of ladies. It's totally appropriate for a galactic love cruise, and I could really see Kirk trying to seduce an alien female to this music. It's not great, but it's not bad either. You Are Not Alone is a cool little number with Nimoy singing about what we as humans will do when we meet extraterrestrials. It's a rather somber tune, and it's over way too short in my opinion. It could have gone on for at least another verse and chorus.
Have you ever wondered as you gazed up at the sky?
The last track is awesome. It's like a mini radio drama as it's told in the style of Spock recording his first officer's log. In it, Spock recounts his visit to a barren planet, the result of a nuclear holocaust. There he meets a lone survivor, a man who recalls what happened to his planet. With some remorse, he says, "We had it all, but then we became too greedy and we destroyed ourselves." Spock then asks, "What is the name of this planet?" And the man replies, "Earth." Wow, that's pretty heavy.
Stardate 2434.2. First Officer's Log.
Obviously, it doesn't make sense when you think about Star Trek and how Starfleet came from Earth, and it wouldn't make sense that Spock didn't know what Earth was, but regardless of Star Trek facts, just taken as it is, it's a rather heavy-hitting political statement on a record that was more or less marketed to children as well as adults. And I don't know, I think that's pretty ballsy of them to do that. Surprisingly enough, this was released as a single and it actually charted, reaching number 121 on Billboard. The B-side was the album opener, the theme from Star Trek. It would be Nimoy's only hit single. If you're looking for an unadulterated Nimoy singing experience, you may want to look at his later releases. But for pure 60s sci-fi kitsch, this album is a must-own. It's an awesome party record, the perfect backdrop to your next shindig, and it makes for a fantastic conversation piece. Since his passing, the prices for original issues have gone up quite a bit, but I suspect they'll come back down again soon enough. There have also been a number of reissues over the years, including a 1973 UK pressing with a different cover on the Rediffusion label and a 1987 pressing on Raven Records from Australia. It should also be noted that this is his most sought after release, not just by vinyl heads, but by Star Trek fans alike. The band alone will drive the price into the $20 to $30 range, but whatever you do not pay over $100 for it. It is not that rare. Oddly enough, his passing has affected me more than other celebrity deaths. I guess that's because I grew up with Star Trek, and because of his amazing portrayal of Spock, I think in some small way, I really believed he was an alien, and thus he would outlive us all. But he really was human, and he lived a wonderful life, leaving our planet a better place, and for that, I am thankful. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Leave a comment below letting me know your favorite memories of Leonard Nimoy. As always, thank you so much for watching. I am your Vinyl Geek. Live long and prosper. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed my review of Mr. Spock's Music from Outer Space. Now, if you really want to have some fun and enjoy this album, might I suggest making the featured cocktail Mr. Spock's Mind Meld Mojito. Oh yes, it's a delicious blend of cucumber, lime, and mint with some gin and sugar. Oh, it is delightful. And you can learn how to make it right here. That's right, click away and it'll take you right to that video. I'm gonna enjoy this a little bit more. It is incredibly refreshing, but it does make you burp a little bit, and that's because of the cucumbers.